What if I told you the most dangerous killer lurking in plain sight wasn't who you expected? That beneath the slick suits and polished boardrooms of a Fortune 500 company hid a darkness far more twisted than a serial killer's spree? Today, we're diving into a case where corporate greed and cold-blooded murder collide. A story so tangled and chilling, you won't see the truth coming. But before we unravel this, if you love stories that twist your mind and pull at your heartstrings, hit subscribe and buckle up. It all started in a quiet suburb of Seattle. Rain drizzled softly, coating streets in a slick sheen. The hum of daily life, kids rushing to school, coffee shops opening their doors, and commuters grabbing umbrellas, masked the silent tension brewing beneath. In a sleek office tower downtown, Everest Technologies was thriving. Known for innovative tech solutions, it was the kind of company that prided itself on trust, progress, and clean reputations. Their CEO, James Caldwell, was a charismatic leader, a family man with a smile that warmed boardrooms and press conferences alike. On the surface, everything looked picture perfect. But if you'd walk the corridors late at night, you'd hear hushed conversations, hurried footsteps, and catch glimpses of documents that seemed to vanish like ghosts. Among the employees was Emily Clark, a mid-level analyst with a penchant for detail and a suspicious mind. She noticed odd discrepancies: missing files, unexplained expenses, and a growing list of quietly resigned staff. Nothing that screamed danger, just enough to prick at her instincts. Meanwhile, across town, reports began trickling in about a series of disappearances. Mostly women, all last seen near parking lots or lonely streets in the city's outskirts. At first, police treated it as unrelated cases, but the number rose too quickly for coincidence. Seattle was waking up to fear. Emily, driven by curiosity and a nagging feeling that something was wrong, began her own quiet investigation. She accessed financial records and cross-referenced them with staff attendance logs. What she uncovered was chilling. Large sums of money were being funneled to untraceable accounts. Certain employees had access to confidential information, but no clear reason to do so. And then there was the name Robert Hale, who appeared repeatedly in email chains but never showed up for meetings or office photos. At the same time, the disappearances in the city deepened, and one by one, the victims had a connection to Everest Technologies. Some were ex-employees, others contractors. Police found a pattern emerging, but no one could link the dots. One evening, Emily stayed late in the office, piecing together her findings. The flickering fluorescent lights above cast long shadows. As she pulled up a file on Robert Hale, the screen went black. Heart racing, she heard a soft tap behind her. "Emily?" a voice whispered. At this point, I've got to ask, what do you think is going on? Corporate cover-up? A serial killer with inside help? Drop your wildest theories in the comments, and don't forget to smash that like button if you're as creeped out as I am. Also, check out our playlist on corporate crimes that shocked the world. Trust me, you don't want to miss those. Emily confided in her friend and police detective Marcus Lopez. Together, they started digging deeper. Marcus revealed that Robert Hale was a ghost. No official records, no known identity. But Emily's analysis showed Hale was at the center of financial fraud and suspicious communications about removing liabilities. More victims turned up, each with a thread tying them back to the company's darkest secrets. A whistleblower's cryptic voicemail was intercepted. They think it's just business, but it's murder. One night, Marcus went missing. His last text read, "Found something big. Need backup." Panic set in. Emily realized the danger wasn't just lurking in the shadows. It was hunting them. The breakthrough came from a forensic accountant hired anonymously by Emily. The truth was more horrifying than anyone expected. Robert Hale wasn't just a pseudonym or a shadow player in the company. He was James Caldwell, the CEO himself. Under the guise of Robert Hale, Caldwell orchestrated a double life, laundering money through shell companies, eliminating anyone who threatened to expose the fraud, not just with threats, but by arranging accidents. The disappearances, targets silenced by a cold, calculating mind who combined corporate crime with the ruthless tactics of a serial killer. Emily's investigation had peeled back the layers of a man who mastered the art of deception, hiding a brutal murderer behind a mask of business success and community respect. As police raided Everest Technologies, Emily sat alone in her dim apartment, the weight of the revelation pressing down. How many lives were destroyed? How many families torn apart by a man who exploited trust and fear in equal measure? The city was left haunted not just by the losses but by the bitter truth that sometimes the greatest evil wears a tailored suit. But just as Emily thought the nightmare was over, a new message popped up on her phone. No sender, no words, only a photo of Marcus, alive, but held captive somewhere unknown. "This story is far from over," she whispered. "If you thought that was intense, you're right." And in part 2, we dive even deeper into how this twisted game of power, murder, and survival unfolds. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, and join the conversation. And hey, if you're brave enough, share this video with a friend who loves a good mystery. Until next time, stay safe out there. Because sometimes the real monsters wear a smile. We uncovered that the charismatic CEO, James Caldwell, was living a terrifying double life as Robert Hale, a shadowy puppet master combining corporate fraud with cold-blooded murder. Emily Clark's quiet investigation exposed the deadly truth, but now the nightmare escalates. Her ally, Detective Marcus Lopez, has vanished without a trace. Where is he? And what price will Emily pay for getting too close? Go back and watch it. But be warned, this story only gets darker. The rain had never stopped in Seattle since Emily's discovery. It felt like the city itself was mourning or warning. Emily sat in her small apartment, eyes red from sleepless nights. The photo of Marcus on her phone haunted her. She dialed his number again and again, hoping for a sign, but silence was the only reply. Her instincts screamed at her. Marcus wasn't gone by accident. Caldwell's reach was far, and if he could hide a double life, he could hide Marcus anywhere. That night, a sudden knock at the door startled her. She peeked through the peephole, no one, just a small envelope slipped under the door. Inside, a USB drive labeled, simply, Truth. Okay, what would you do? Plug it in and risk everything? Or call it in to the cops and hope for the best? Drop your thoughts below. I read every comment. And if you haven't already, subscribe to follow Emily's journey as she dances on the edge of a razor-sharp blade. Emily took the USB to a trusted cyber expert, Raj, someone who owed her a favor from a previous case. Hours later, Raj called, "Emily, this isn't just financial data. It's a blueprint, bank transfers, offshore accounts. But there's more, a detailed schedule, dates and places, and something about final solutions, whatever that means." Among the files were cryptic videos. Surveillance footage from company parking lots showed shadowy figures meeting late at night. One sequence showed Marcus entering a warehouse, only to disappear from the camera's view. But the most chilling file was a voice recording. A distorted voice, unmistakably James Caldwell's, speaking in cold, clipped tones. "Dispose of the liabilities. No loose ends. They threaten the empire." Emily's hands shook. The man she'd once admired was orchestrating a campaign of terror and silence. Meanwhile, the official police investigation was stalling. Emily noticed key officers avoiding certain leads. She confronted a trusted detective only to be warned off. "This goes higher than you think. Caldwell's got friends everywhere." The city's elite, it seemed, were complicit, protecting their own and burying inconvenient truths. Emily realized she was not just fighting a killer but an entire system built to protect him. Exhausted and isolated, Emily struggled with self-doubt. The weight of the victims' families, Marcus's fate, and her own safety pressed down like a storm. Late one night, tears spilled as she read a message from Marcus, found hidden in his office. "If you're reading this, trust no one. I'm close. Stay sharp. Stop Caldwell." It was a plea, a warning, and a lifeline. Just when all seemed lost, Emily received a message from an anonymous source claiming to be an insider. They offered help, but at a price. "Meet me at Pier 37, midnight. Come alone." Despite the risk, Emily knew this could be the break she needed. She arrived to find an old janitor, a man overlooked by everyone, who handed her a file. Photos, documents, and phone records linking Caldwell to powerful figures. Politicians, financiers, even law enforcement. "They think you can't touch us," he said. "But we've been waiting for someone like you." Before Emily could ask more, headlights swept in. A black SUV screeched to a halt. Men jumped out, shouting orders. "Run!" the janitor urged. Emily dashed into the night, heart pounding, chased by shadows darker than the rain. As she ducked behind crates, her phone buzzed. Another message. "Game's not over. They're watching. You're next." And that's where we leave Emily, on the run, hunted by a corporate empire that kills to survive. What will happen next? Will she find Marcus? Can she expose Caldwell's web of deceit before it's too late? The answers await us, so hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because you won't want to miss a second. And hey, share this with someone who loves a high-stakes thriller. Stay curious, stay safe. The city was cloaked in fog as Emily dashed through back alleys, the black SUV's engine roaring behind her. Adrenaline blurred her vision. She ducked into a derelict warehouse, the very place from the videos. Inside, faint voices echoed. She crouched behind crates, peering through cracked boards. Marcus was there, alive but bound. His eyes met hers with a flicker of hope. Suddenly, footsteps. Caldwell appeared, flanked by guards, his cold smile a chilling mask. "You shouldn't have come here, Emily," he said, voice silky but deadly. "Some truths are too dangerous." Her hands trembled, but her voice was steady. "It's over, James. The evidence is with the police. Your empire is crumbling." Caldwell laughed, a hollow sound. "You think they'll believe you? I own this city's backbone. The money, the cops, even the media." But Emily had a card left. Earlier, she'd sent the files to an investigative journalist, Sarah Lee, who was already broadcasting a live expose revealing Caldwell's crimes, his corporate fraud, and links to the murders. The guards tensed as police sirens wailed outside. "Game over," Emily whispered. Caldwell's facade cracked. Panic flickered in his eyes. He lunged toward Marcus but was quickly subdued by arriving officers. Handcuffed and defiant, Caldwell spat. "You'll regret this." But for the victims' families, this moment was relief, long overdue. Emily sat with Marcus, exhausted but victorious. The price was high. Careers ruined, lives lost, trust shattered. She reflected on the darkness she'd unearthed. How a single man's greed could infect an entire system, destroying lives in its wake. Though Caldwell was behind bars, investigations revealed many silent accomplices in the shadows. Corporate executives, corrupt officials, and others who benefited from the web of deceit. Emily vowed to keep fighting, knowing justice is never final but always necessary. This story reminds us, evil often wears a polished suit, and sometimes the greatest monsters hide behind power and respectability. But courage and truth still have a chance. If you found this story gripping, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our future investigations. Share this video to help spread awareness about corporate crime and its devastating consequences. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay curious, and remember, sometimes justice is just the beginning.